I've played a lot of those survival crafting games. My brother loves the genre. And I gotta say, this is the best one. It makes gathering resources fun. You don't see that
Yeah.
much.
I was like, this is triggering my like ADHD in the best way possible. That's so unbelievably satisfying.
You're trying to watch out for the sandworm, which is an awesome mechanic.
So
Like,
cool. It's so
fucking
cool.
brilliant the way they put it in. I love it.
Just heard so many people say it was like boring, especially the
Mm-hmm.
second one, but I really didn't find either of them boring. I thought they were like not boring films at all.
They really broke it down. There's a lot of nuance, you know? The more you pay attention to it, the more you pick up. If you're just someone who's just like waiting for the next action scene, you might not like it. They did a really good job with like the sets and the costumes.
Oh, it looks
and,
fantastic.
like, the whole vibe of the, like, it's really well done. It's like the proto ancestor of sci-fi, the least common ancestor or something. Dune was in like the 60s. You could see a lot of Star Wars influence in that, you know?
There is Star Wars influence, yeah.
And
But
Star Wars
especially in the
did pull a
Messiah
lot
thing.
from it. I kind of finished up with Dune. Yeah, I got to Endgame, and it just didn't appeal to me. This whole time leveling, I've been, doing the melee fights, and I love, the slow attack, to pierce the shield.
Ooh, the slow stab through the shield. They worked that in so well with canon.
It does. It's with the lore. It's great. It's great. And the grappling hook is so great, and the movement,
I was using the grappling hook. I couldn't figure out how to make it work properly. I think I was just
the suspension belt. Use the grappling hook. Use the suspension belt immediately after you go flying.
Oh, I knew I was
Yep.
missing something because I was like, this has like a 5 feet radius on it. This is fucking useless.
Yeah, you get the full suspension belt, and you just go in whatever direction you fly. The mobility in that game, it feels great, and even the vehicles, they did a good job. Really, just like the whole progress system, I really liked in that game. I've played a lot of those survival crafting games. My brother loves the genre, so I'm always playing all these different ones. And I gotta say, this is the best one because it makes gathering resources fun. Like, you don't see that much. And even just breaking rocks apart, you gotta, it makes a little mark in the rock. You gotta hit it right with your laser and stuff. Like, it's really cool. And then when you do it, and it explodes, and you get it all at once.
The first
you don't have to
time,
like pick up each piece off the ground or something monotonous.
The first time I saw that mechanic where you shoot the line, I was like, this is triggering my like ADHD in the best way possible. That's so unbelievably satisfying. It's kind of like
cool,
it's like drawing the line between you're actually slicing it up, but then you just get all the stuff, like it pops out. It's satisfying. When you dismantle vehicles and scraps of metal and stuff, you have to like cut the seams around the edges. Clyde's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
It's really cool. Yeah.
I wanted to ask Peter, I'm curious, because I come from like an MMO background, but I don't know that I've ever played an open world like survival game to like what you would consider endgame. So what does endgame look like?
I was about to ask the same thing.
Is there raid? What does it look like?
So in Dune, the whole beginning, you're in this place called Haga Basin. That's just where you start straight up PvE, no PvP at all whatsoever. When you start getting toward the end game, like the second to last and the last tier of gear, then you start moving up this place called the open desert, and it's just this massive desert that's just open. And, it's dotted with little, points of interest here and there. But the thing is, when you're in the desert, it's PvP, free for all, The main point is you get spice. You see the spice flows, and you go and you gather it up, and then you can use it to craft high quality items. You can trade it for a bunch of money or whatever. And the whole time, you're trying to watch out for the sandworm, which is an awesome mechanic.
So cool. It's so cool.
Brilliant the way they put it in. I love it. It's great. It's always around. Whenever you're on open sand, you got a little meter that kind of comes, and you have to watch it. And when it's too much, the music swells up and it pops up, and you just run for your. If it eats you, it gets all your gear. You're just wiped.
Dang.
Yeah. So like you're just running. It's actually puts fear in you. It's so great. And
it's cool.
anyways, you get out in the desert, and that's it. You're gathering spice. You're hitting a couple wreckages, and you're fighting the same NPCs you're fighting the entire time in Haga Basin. It just felt very repetitive. Okay. It didn't feel new. And when I did have some player versus player battles, it just didn't click. It felt clunky, and 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 a lot of the time in the open world PvP, it's just who has the most numbers, who has their most buddies on at once. And because it's survival crafting now, it's who has the best machinery, who has the most upgrades. A lot of it is with vehicles, and very little of it is actually on ground. I'm someone who likes mostly playing FPS games, where when you die, you respawn, then 10 to 15 seconds you're back in the action. Like having to get your shit blown up and then you got to go and farm for like half an hour. Like, no, it did not appeal to me. So I mean, unfortunate, but I really liked how
you still got like
how it
150
climbed.
hours out of the game, right? Before you reached
Yes,
that point.
yeah. I still got at least that much time. So I did get well my money's worth, and I definitely recommend it if you like that genre. But Endgame just wasn't for me, and it's really hard to get a good end game in survival crafting. I don't think I've ever seen it done right, but for what they had, it was great. And seeing all the stuff, the lore accurate stuff, that was pretty cool. My only gripe is that they had a lot of like there's 6 Dune books, okay, and that's a lot of material for them to just reach into and grab like names of people, events that had happened, quotes, stuff like that. And like a lot of the quests and stuff, they're just kind of like they were written by people who didn't read the book,
Yeah.
Like they're just like, oh, we'll just take Arabian names and throw it in there. Nobody will know the difference. It's like, oh, come on, man. But that was kind of like, whatever. I'm the kind of person who most of the time, if the story doesn't appeal to me, I'll just skip over it.
I've seen some clips that look like it would piss me right off of people like stealing people's bases like Rust style. If you find like other players' command modules in their huge multi-story bases, and you can take over the entire base and immediately gain like all of their power and resources. Which is
I'm not completely sure how that works, but yeah, I think
might be
you
wrong.
can
I thought I saw a video of
break into their
that.
bases. Yeah. I think you can break into their. I don't know how.
I would be.
I've seen people
mad.
use like laser guns and stuff. But the thing is, it's the bases that are in the open desert.
Yeah.
So you've got your main base you've been working on the whole game in Haga Basin, and then you have the open desert. And the thing about the desert is every week it resets.
Yep.
So you don't have a permanent base there. That's just kind of like your temporary base. Something else that pissed me off and probably led to me not playing it is there's a lot of hacking going on.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, when I was in the open desert, I heard them talking about it in chat. And something else that was huge is duping was apparently really big. So like here I am like gathering my materials like a dumbass. And this other guy just like presses some buttons and now he's got like 12 helicopters. And if he blows up my one helicopter, I got to go back and farm for a half hour or something, So that really, made me not want to play the game anymore.
That's a big put off.
And, yeah. And, I hear, like I said, I hear in the chat, they talk about the players who are using like speed hacks or they're shooting through the ground. If I liked Endgame, that would have been tragic, but I don't. So it was really easy for me to disengage. That won't bother you for the first 90% of the game.
I applaud you, Peter. Like you're such to me, you're the ultra fan of Dune. Like you've read the books, you know the deep lore. You're like really freaking excited to like get into the lore of the factions.
I love it.
And then you show up and they all have like a bunch of Arabian names. I would have flipped my pancake, dude.
Yeah.
I would have lost my mind.
Let me tell you. Okay, so the whole setup is it's an alternate universe, okay?
Yeah.
So like in Dune, like prescience is a really big thing. Like being able to see the future.
Mm-hmm.
That's a ability that several people have, and some people get really good at it. And so he sees a vision of the future where, Paul Atreides, the main guy. Yeah, Lisan al-Gaib.
Lisan al-Gaib.
He sees a version of the future where he wasn't born, and like this is that version where he wasn't born. So it's like this. It's not what happens in the book, So that kind of hand waves their whole, well, we can do whatever because this isn't actual. So and on that point, the Fremen, which is kind of like some of the main people of the book, they're like eliminated.
Really?
And I'm like, No, they wouldn't get a no, that wouldn't happen. And by the Sardaukar of everyone, I'm like, no, then so
Oh, by his
I was,
Sardaukar. Oh no.
yeah, so I was furious.
Yeah.
I was just like, no, that they would never have that happen. Oh god. So
Everyone else is out there
yeah.
like harvesting their crystals, and you're over here like, but what about the Fremen, man? What about the Fremen? Like, people are like, shut up and play the
Can't
game,
believe what they
nerd.
did with the Fremen. Oh, they did the Fremen so wrong. God damn it.
Yeah, something that I think is so cool about that game is how the vehicles work.
Yeah.
The way you build them, Clyde, basically, is you fabricate each like individual component for a vehicle, and then you kind of build it like Lego, but like automated. So you can kind of choose what parts you put on. So like you can, instead of using like a standard battery, you can fabricate like a like a very good battery,
well,
because
I mean, you
you've
can
got
do
the
that at the
materials.
beginning
Yeah.
too. I mean, even with the starter standby, you get different versions of the
Yeah, you do.
of
Yeah,
the parts.
Yeah, not
and
bad,
some
yeah.
of the versions are like unique with
Mhm.
like special properties and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. And like there's like a utility part on the sand bike. Like you can put an inventory on it, so you can like dump your items on, which is super cool. You can put like a boost on it, so you
Yeah.
go faster. What I did is I carried an inventory piece on me and a boost piece on me. Whatever wasn't on the bike, I'd carry it with me so I could just swap them out.
Oh, that's clever.
So I'd keep the boost on it, and whenever my inventory was full, I'd put the inventory on.
It's fully modular vehicle building, basically. Cool. You make some cool fucking
cool.
vehicles as well. Like you make like
Yeah.
transport ornithopters and stuff, and transport vehicle like ground vehicles.
They're just so satisfying to drive too.
The good driving is good. Yeah. Riding a sand bike across the dunes, you feel so cool. I feel like I'm in the movie. Like the sand kicks up everywhere. You hear the rumbling of the worm coming, so you kind of evade out the way a little bit, stay towards the rocks. It's very good. It's just constantly Dune. You always feel like you're doing something Dune specific with the mechanics.
And the survival parts of it is really well integrated.
Yeah.
Both with the lore and just how it puts it in the game. Because like in the book, like the sun, like they have 3 suns on this planet.
Yeah.
So daytime is hot.
It's very hot.
Like it will burn you. So like being exposed in the sun will like give you like this meter, and once it gets full, then like your
water starts to drain.
Your water
very
usage
fast.
goes low, and the water is really important. Like there's no like eating, there's no like pooping or any of that crap. It's just water.
Just water.
And the thing is,
water.
yeah, it's just water. And when you keep your water full, you have like stamina buffs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And when you run out of water, you just immediately go down. You don't go, oh, I'm thirsty. You're just dropped to the ground, like you're downed. And if you have extra water, you can pick yourself back up. So it's really useful. And then they integrate it with the crafting too. So a lot of the recipes for stuff need water.
Yeah.
So a lot of points of the game, you're gathering water at various amounts and intervals, and you're getting bigger tools to get water. You're going from like using like a little scythe looking thing and collecting dew, at the beginning, and then at the end you're using these massive
Huge
machines you're putting on your base.
What I love about that is that, especially like with the sun and stuff, they could have really easily not done that, because they could have just been like, no, we don't want to like give people too much trouble. We want people to be comfortable. It's like a Dune game, Imagine if you were playing a game and being outside was like painful. That'd be terrible, right? No, it's actually really cool in a survival game. They could have really easily not done that, but they made the decision to try and to be like,
Yeah,
we're gonna put like the Dune unit, the Dune game. We're gonna put the Dune universe first. We're gonna put the Dune stuff in the game.
The largest difference between the book and the game is if you've read the book, it is some of the heaviest, the hardest to read story that's not like Old English or something like that. Like it's really like internal dialogue heavy. There's a lot of philosophical stuff, very heavy philosophical, a lot of flowery language,
Interesting.
So many times I've had to reread passages to try to get what they mean. Sometimes I've read entire paragraphs and it'd be like, I don't know what that said. But at the same time, it's deep. When you do get it, it's really interconnected. It's really well thought of. And like, and then you get to the in-game dialogue, and it's just like generic, you know, like, oh, hey, how's it going? We need to do this now. Okay, let's go. And it's just like, oh man, like they didn't even
We are
try.
Arabic clan name. We yeah, like oh no.
Yeah, yeah, we are generic Arabic clan name. We don't worry about that stuff. So
Oh jeez.
that was kind of like obvious. Well, you can't duplicate his writing, but you can at least, try to
Yeah.
get close to it or
To be
something.
canon, at least.
Yeah. I'm glad you had
Yeah.
a good time with it. I'm glad you had a great time with Dune Awakening. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, yeah, I definitely recommend it if you like Dune or if you like survival crafting. It's definitely gonna give you a good time. Get your money's worth for sure.
As a reaction to me enjoying the game so much, I watched both the films for the first time. I've never seen either of them before.
Oh, what'd you think?
Surprisingly positive feelings because
Mhm.
I feel like, you know how when you hear people talking about stuff and you kind of like get their impressions or like in your head a little bit. The only
Yeah.
thing that I've heard about the new Dune, like and I think there's a lot of Dune movies, but obviously I'm talking about the new ones.
Yep.
The thing I've heard the most from all my friends, even my friends who like slower, like slow burn material, I've just
Mhm.
heard so many people say it was like boring, especially the
Mm-hmm.
second one. I heard that a lot about the second one, first
Mhm.
one as well, being boring. And I don't know if it's because I don't know if it's just because I had that expectation from years of hearing that, but I really didn't find either of them boring. I thought they were like
Mm.
not boring films at all. In fact, the first movie I think has like 3 or 4 like big action set pieces in it, which I feel like is which I feel like is on par, if not slightly more than like a lot of films. Go
Yeah,
on.
I could see that. So like I said, the book's really internal dialogue heavy.
Yeah.
Like people will be having a conversation and like as someone's replying, they're like giving you insight on what they're thinking about what they're saying, and you're actually hearing them analyze what the other person is saying, Like there's so much thought going into just a plain conversation. It's wild. And so
Yeah.
having to convert that to a movie, like you can't just throw. So it's very difficult. I think someone called it the most difficult book to turn into a movie, which I think is part of why it's been so difficult. It's been there was a movie like in the 70s or 80s, and then there was a mini series in like the 90s or something like that. So
Yeah.
they tried, and so the way they did it this time is they really broke it down and they added bits and pieces here, and like there's a lot of nuance, and like the more you pay attention to it, the more you pick up. And if you're just someone who's just like waiting for the next action scene to pop up, you might not like it. They did a really good job with like the sets and the costumes.
Oh, it looks
and
fantastic.
like the whole
Yeah.
vibe of the like it's really well done. So like it's like there's at least that to get into. So if you're not enjoying that part of it, then I could easily see you just not liking it. But for what they had, they did a damn good job. And man, that's definitely a theater movie. I gotta say, it was great watching that in IMAX with the big wraparound screen.
Oh
Man,
shit, yeah.
the sandworm coming out. Oh man, that was yes, just shoveling
Did
that.
you get the sandworm popcorn bucket? Did you see the sandworm
Is that a thing?
popcorn bucket?
They weren't selling it, but
Ew. Yeah, I think you're exactly right
that is
though.
funny.
It's one of those things where like paying attention and listening was like even right I remember right at the beginning of the first film, even in the first like 10-15 minutes they were talking like they were giving like it's not one of the movies where someone sits in front of the screen, looks into the camera and says like, this is the Atreides, this is Arrakis, this is what happens on Arrakis. It's instead of doing that, it's like people are talking, and for reasons that make sense to them in the context of the scene,
Right,
you're
right.
finding stuff out all the time. And I found it really
yeah.
interesting because people were speaking about Arrakis and how
Yeah.
how hostile it is to live on because of the conditions. And the
Right.
worms come up sometimes because obviously I remember the first time you hear about the worms, Paul is like in Arrakis in like his bedroom, and there's like a hologram documentary explaining the worms, like
Mhm.
like where they're from, how they grow, like how to that's where he hears about the sand walking for the first time, which is another cool like interaction with the lore, because that would make sense, right? If they hunt from like rhythmic steps, then it would make sense. If you were writing this realistically, it would make sense to have a sand walk where they can't find you. So that's really cool. And but the movie is basically 2 hours of that, hearing cool stuff. That was what I took out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's part of how they had to adapt it because like I said, there's so much expedition, there's so much dialogue that's unsaid, and like a lot of it just talks about what things are, what's going on and stuff. And how do you do that in a movie? Well, you do it through what do you call it, exposition, um where you fit into it. And like you said, you're not just looking at the camera and you're just telling people this. You have to fit it naturally into dialogue. And so that's how they pick it up. And it's very important you pick up all these pieces because there's a reason they're there. People aren't just like bullshitting back. Hey, how was your Tuesday? Oh, it was good. They're all talking about parts of the story, and they're talking about information that you need to know for later in the story. It's all relevant. And that's because they had so much to pack into it. Like you said, the hologram stuff and that he's listening to, that was kind of the most. That's the most in your face it gets with the exposition.
Yeah, but
even
also,
that felt more natural.
It made sense, right? Because it's like it's
makes sense,
educational. He's a stranger. He's a stranger to the
right.
land. Yeah.
Right. So it was really cool how they did that. And about the sand walk, the first time I was in the open desert and I saw the sandworm meter come, I started jiggling left and right. I go, all right, I gotta make my foot unrhythmical. Here we go. I just gotta jiggle left and right. I was like, fuck, it's coming toward me.
I'm guessing it didn't work.
It didn't work.
It's sad that they didn't include that in the game. It would have maybe been like broken.
That's what I wanted in the game, Clyde. I wanted sand walking. They didn't do it. So that was in the book, and it's very important. But,
they should include it, but make it really hard, like a really hard mini game.
The sandworms, when there's like rhythmical like footsteps in the ground, it knows it's a living thing, so it'll come for it and it'll eat it. So the Fremen in the desert, they learn to walk without rhythm. They just kind of have this, they just kind of like randomly, take steps and stuff like that. And so it's like, it's kind of like this crazy part of, and it's lore accurate and stuff. And
cool lore. I like that.
It's not in the game though. So
I like stuff like that when like factions are making like are making smart decisions to like navigate around the existing lore, like things that people would actually do in real life. Sorry, go ahead, Clyde.
Oh no, you're fine. You're fine. I think that's totally true. I have to point out, Sean, you've got to be in the extreme minority of people who went into Dune Awakening having not seen the movies. Like you're just like showing up day one, like being like, apparently I'm in a universe with giant sandworms. You're like, I don't know what the hell is going on here. Like what was that experience like?
I mean,
or did you feel like you're totally like experiencing everything for the first time, or
kind of?
Like,
but Dune is so like culturally large that I knew like I knew what Arrakis was. I knew about the heat, and I knew about the sandworms before, like having not seen any movies.
It's like the proto ancestor of sci-fi. You know,
that's fair.
It's like the what do they call it in evolution? Like the least common ancestor or something. Like that. Like Dune was in like the 60s and stuff, right? Like, and it was in the desert, and they had these creatures you had to look out for, and there's these magical powers you could use to command people, and there's this boy who was he had these special powers, and like you could see a lot of like Star Wars influence in that,
There is Star Wars influence,
and Star Wars did pull a lot from it.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff was pulled from that. You can see its influence on a lot of series. So like if you work backwards, then like when you read the book, you start picking out like seeing all these inspirations, and that's kind of what got me to read it. I just heard so much about it. I heard it was so big, and honestly, I got halfway through the first book, and I was like, man, they're glazing the fuck out of this kid. I don't get what's going on though. Like this is and I set it down, and then like a month or two later, I'm like, I gotta finish it just to say I finished it, And the thing is, the first half of the book sets up the second half of the book, right? So everything that happened, like the exposition I was talking about, it needs the whole first half of the book to tell you everything about what's going on, and then the shit hits the fan and you start to watch all the cool shit. Same with the movies too. Like the first movie, it's just setting it up, it's setting the scene, and then the second movie, that's where all the stuff comes together. Have you seen the movies, Clyde?
Yes, I have seen the movies,
Okay.
and that's why I was curious if Sean was going in raw dogging like
Yeah.
the game, or if he like, yeah. I mean, and I think it's incredible. I feel like, yeah, I'm it surprises me that you hadn't seen the movies going in, but I'm glad that you went back and
It is
watched them
weird,
because I
yeah.
thought they were a lot of fun too.
Yeah.
I thought they were really good
It's
movies. Like,
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
I talked about the
Yeah.
first movie. I still like the second movie. Second movie lost me a little bit, but it like for like the first half of the second movie, it's basically just more of the first movie. But it lost me in a few ways. First of all, I can't remember the incredibly famous actor's name who plays like the leader of the Fremen. Excuse me. In the second movie, he says nothing other than like "Listen, Al-Gaib, listen, Al-Gaib." He basically
You're
becomes
talking
like
about Stilgar?
yeah, he basically
Yeah, yeah.
becomes Paul's
Yeah.
private glazer for the whole movie to the point where he's
Mhm.
not the character
Right.
anymore. The same with all
Yeah.
of the Fremen in general. They kind of just the only thing they say is like, "We have faith in this and Al-Gaib." Like
Yeah.
someone will go over to him and say some like, you know, some interesting dialogue, some deep shit, and he'll just be like, "Well, with Lisan Al-Gaib, we will all be okay." That's his response to everything.
Yeah.
I feel like the second half of the movie was kind of the opposite. The second half of the movie was like really rushed. It kind of caught me off guard a little bit because they have that whole thing where they launch the nukes on the Harkonnens.
Harkonnen. Yeah.
Yeah,
Harkonnens,
and
yeah.
that whole thing goes down in like 10 minutes. Like the Harkonnens
Yeah.
just get destroyed. Paul charges in there and he's face to face with the Emperor in the space of like 15 minutes of time. And I was like, wait, all this talk over that was easy. Like there was barely any, there was barely any fight. I was still having a good time while I was watching the second movie. I thought it was still interesting. I enjoyed it. And I'm I'm excited for the third one, I guess.
Oh yeah. I could see it feeling rushed because like they just had so much,
Yeah.
and they just condensed it so much, and there's a lot missing that kind of built up, who he was, and like because you just kind of see him and he's just like a kid. It's like, yeah, I guess he's all right, but like I said, like in the book, they really built him up, and you just realize he's something different,
Yeah.
And then like same thing when he meets the Fremen, they're very cautious of him at first, and then you can slowly see how he starts to impress them with his ability, and he really catches on to their culture, but they don't have the time to do that in the movie.
This is
And
why, like
that-
you said, it's so hard to adapt. Like this is why.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Like and dude, this is book 1, by the way. The first and second movie, they're book 1.
Okay.
So this is the
There's 5
first
more
book.
books to go.
There's 5 more books to go. So this is just the first book, and they've broken it too. Like Harry Potter didn't do that till like what, like the 5th
Way later.
or 6th book
Yeah.
or something like
Yeah.
that. This is the first book, and they're breaking it into 2. So that just tells you how much there was to do here. And let me tell you, man, as someone who read the books, the story just goes off the rails, man.
Really?
Like I can't wait to see where the movies go, because like if the first movie was hard to do, like later on in the series, it just gets like, there's no way they can make a movie about like the 4th book, and the 3rd will be like really hard. So
is there going to be more than 3
I can't
movies
wait.
then?
I hope so, dude. I hope so. But
I was under the impression it was the last. I don't know where I heard that from, but maybe I just made that up. I hope I made that up because obviously I'd like to see it. live as long as
well, it's
possible.
going to be the second book now, Dune Messiah.
Yeah.
And so it all depends, honestly. Like, and I really hate to say it, but it's all going to depend on how well the movie does, right? I mean, because if it's a
course.
flop, they're going to be like, no more movies.
course.
But if it's huge, if it's massive, they're going to be like, we'll find a way. We will we will make the next one. And I hope to God it's like that, because not only do I really like how they did it, like I love the visuals, and the actors are really good at what they're doing. Zendaya, not as much, but she's in everything. You can't ignore her.
I actually think she's okay in Dune.
What can you do? She's okay, but
Yeah.
she also doesn't have many lines. So,
She doesn't know.
yeah.
I
She
think she's
actually
fine.
she
Yeah.
plays a. She was foreshadowed a lot in the first movie. She doesn't, but then she doesn't
Right.
even have that big of a part in the second movie. She, like you said, she barely has. She doesn't even have that many lines. It's strange.
Right. It kind of comes into play later, with stuff,
Again, it feels like it's just trying to fit in a lot of things.
It was, because she was a bit more important than it's waving to, and she becomes more important now. Like at the end,
She left
at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he goes to marry
Florence Pugh.
the one girl, and she gets all pissed off and stuff. But and it doesn't talk about that, because the whole reason he did it was to secure his place as the emperor.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I don't think it dug deep enough into that. So a lot of people are like, "Oh my God, why would he do that to her?"
But he
And
said, but in fairness, in defense of the movie, he turns to her and says, like, "No matter what, I will always love you." Like right before he does his thing with Florence Pugh. So for me,
Right.
that was the confirmation that he's basically telling her, like, this isn't. I don't actually love this other woman. This is just this is political. Yeah, that's how I.
Yeah, but it's just one line in the movie, whereas in the book, you know, it's
a whole thing.
It's a whole thing. And then the emperor was Christopher Walken. That was great.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. And it was the most serious role I've ever seen him play. Like, right? You know, because even when he has other serious roles, he kind of has some Walken, you know, in it. But in this one, he was just straight edged, you know, all business. So it was crazy.
Exact same case for Dave Bautista, the most serious role anyone's ever seen him.
Most
play.
Serious I've seen Dave. Yeah, and he nailed that role too.
He was good. He was really great. Good. Yeah, he came across as like big and angry, but also like a pussy as well. Like he was very clearly like afraid of his uncle.
The character is the God, I forget his name. The
main
Baron
villain,
Harkonnen. Yeah, that was really well done too.